Well, hey guys, how's it going? My name is NK Corvus, and I'm here with our boys, the Necroton Knights. We are coming to you tonight to kind of show off, kind of showcase ourselves a little bit, kind of tell a little bit more in depth about how we kind of started everything up, how we got things going. We have a lot of history between the four of us that we've done a lot over the years, and so we're kind of bringing that to you guys tonight to really just give some context to who we are as the Necroton Knights. With me I have NK Mando, of course, and also NK Frodo, and last but certainly not least, NK J Bacon Strips. NK Bacon, however you want to refer to him, there's bacon involved somewhere.
Extra crispy.
Extra crispy. And so like tonight, guys, is really just going to be a whole lot about just kind of like how we all kind of met, what we ended up coming through together, what we've all kind of done as far as like the events that transpired through our lives to get us to this point. We're also going to do a little bit of talking tonight about some stuff that we're really excited about in the future, what's coming up, games that we're really excited for, things of that nature.
Starfield.
I wasn't going to say... spoiler alert! Shit!
Do a barrel roll. Wait, that's our
There's always one that has to spoil it.
I mean, just... By the way, this is not going to be a kid-friendly stream.
At all.
No.
So anyways, guys, to kind of get us started, it really kind of, our history is just varied. We've had a whole lot of stuff that we went through as a group. The original tidbits that kind of started us off, kind of all, it's like, it all started with a party.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, we had a 30th birthday party for a friend of mine, and she needed some help trying to set some stuff up for her DJ booth that she had. I was actually supposed to be the DJ, and I did that for a little while. I actually I think I did a half decent job.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, for never fucking doing it, never having any fucking clue what was going on. I mean, like I just kind of said, yeah, man, yeah, I'm on the mic, I'm on the twos and the ones and the twos, and I'm doing the shit, and I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck I'm saying. Like, had a whole lot of fun with it, had a whole blast with it, man. But we kind of had to go and figure out what the audio situation was, and what the bar was, the Huddle Up.
Yeah, it was the Huddle Up Bar and Grill. It was right there off of Prion, off the bridge. It
Yeah.
had a 2-story unit, and y'all were...
We were upstairs like
yeah.
with the little loft thing and all that junk.
God, that was a long time ago.
It
I
really
know,
was.
bruh. I can't. That place doesn't even exist anymore, by the way, and it's fucking
It's been
crazy.
gone for a hot minute.
They've got a little hotel that's like right next door and everything. But like we were up there, we were all like in that second floor little area. We had a place, we had all that stuff set up, and we were trying to figure out some audio situations. And they were like, I think somebody downstairs would probably be able to help us out. So they go and they like run downstairs and they find NK Mando.
Yeah.
He's just like, he's actually like, he's a line cook there at that time. Weren't you a line cook at that point?
Actually, I was the head chef at the time.
Oh, he was head chefing it. Like he got that fucking kind of.
Oh, you fancy.
Ladies,
Yeah,
if y'all
I'm
need somebody who
fancy
can cook for you, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, so he was running head chef, but he also knew pretty much everything about the building because he was that guy. He's pretty much just he's always pretty much been that guy. And
Unfortunately. That's not always a good thing.
so we had to go and we had to pull him up to help us out with it, and then we of course Tyler is our buddy. He's super charismatic. You can't have a 5-minute conversation with a motherfucker, I swear.
No.
The whole thing with him is he whenever he starts talking to you, matter of fact, whenever I met him was at a movie gallery whenever he was 19, and I was like in college and doing my shit. and he just happened to be there. No, actually, he was 17 at the time. I remember that. He was like 16, 17. He was just about to graduate high school. Because I remember I brought him up there with me to go and hang out with like all of my friends and stuff at college, and he was trying to hit on my 20-something-year-old friend, like my.
That don't surprise me at all.
Nah, and she was just like, "Oh, you're cute," and like patting him, like literally like patting him on the head. It was, "Oh, you're cute," and like I was just like, "Oh, come on, bro." Like, you don't got to make the kid feel that small. We were playing drinking games, all kind of shit, but I was not doing anything to contribute to the delinquency of a minor at all. Like, he did not drink. I'm gonna lay that out there right now. Bullshit. He didn't. I promise you. Like, he actually said, so that I don't get you guys in trouble, I'm not drinking. So we didn't know. That didn't change the fact that like at home he's a fucking stoner from like all kinds of crazy shit. But anyway, so we were. I mean, like Tyler himself, he always kind of got us into these situations where we thought we would be talking, we'd be getting along and all that stuff, and then we didn't even realize, but like 3 hours had already passed, and then eventually, Priest or Mando, we can use our names here, right? Yeah. Okay. I'm Aaron, by the way. Aaron Stanley. That's Priest Magby. That's that over there is Jay Bacon Strips. He's actually Jay, and this right here is actually Andrew or Drewski or Frodo.
Or whatever we decide to call him that day.
Frodo's his real name. His nickname's Drew.
Yeah, Frodo. Yeah.
Don't listen to that crap. Okay. I've come to accept the nickname, not the actual name.
I don't know how many people are going to rewind that and go, wait a minute, that dude's white. His name's not Priest.
That's the thing that's going to characterize it, is the fact that you're a white guy. Come on, hey. Not the fact that you're covered in tattoos, not the fact that you're sitting there freaking looking like you just came out of a Willie Nelson concert. No, none of that.
No, none of that.
But you're a white guy. That's what makes you not a priest. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So this is completely off topic, obviously, but everybody that's ever met me, literally their response when they're like, "Yeah, this is Priest. This is the guy I was telling you about." The first words out of their mouth are, "That's it." I'm like, what the fuck do you mean that's it? And they're like, I'm expecting like this 6'2" swole black dude. You showed up.
You showed up.
I'm like, what the fuck? And that's literally been just about everybody I've ever met. It's always the same response.
We're going to be doing a lot of post-editing, by the way.
Yeah. No, I accidentally muted the audio.
Oh. All right, so roll that back.
Part of the problem is, I did it as I went to switch scenes.
Okay.
I accidentally tapped the screen. But like, all of my friends up until these two came into my life have always been taller than me. So I guess when they talk about me to other people, they just expect a tall dude.
Oh.
And then they hear the name Priest, and everybody knows Priest Holmes in football.
Kansas City Chiefs, baby.
Yeah, so like that's the first thing they think of.
That's
they
what
think
I thought
Judas
of whenever
Priest,
I first.
the metal band, but they don't associate that with a bunch of white guys. They just go, it's a metal dude. So when you hear the name Priest, most people don't think, oh, that could be anybody.
They're expecting 6-foot black guy.
They're expecting a 6-foot black guy, and then I show up and they're like so disappointed for about 5 seconds.
Just a total letdown whenever Priest walks in the room.
When I first met you and they said, yeah, this is, we're going to go see Priest, so we're going to meet Priest, I was thinking, yeah, Priest Holmes, like, black guy, football player.
Do you see what I mean?
And then when I met you, no, it's Darren Sproles.
Darren Sproles. Darren Sproles.
White Darren.
What?
Because he's short, he's like 5'5".
That wasn't even what I would expect.
Damn. So yeah, but I mean, Priest, whatever we were meeting up with for Jamie's birthday party and everything, Priest was the guy that kind of came up there and helped us out. And then, like, as a few weeks later, Priest had gotten into a altercation.
Hey, yeah.
At a local bar. He was a bouncer, and he decided that he was going to make sure that nobody got in a fight that night, except for him. And
hey, it worked. I succeeded.
Fucking, how exactly did that happen? You like dove over somebody. I remember they said something about like you literally jumped over another person. And
so,
Was this Bourbon's?
mm-hmm.
yeah, this was at Bourbon's. So it wasn't so much that I dove over somebody. The fight broke out near the front door, and they said when they did the video playback, they couldn't figure out how I had gotten from the kitchen to the front door as fast as I did. They said it was literally like 3 steps, and I already had the dude wrapped up.
Yeah.
And all I knew was to grab this dude. So I grabbed the one dude, grabbed him in the hold. I was trying to tell him to calm down while I didn't see his 3 buddies, and the 3 of them decided that all 4 of them were going to try to stop me from stopping him. And all 4 of them landed on me, sending my knee in the opposite direction.
Yeah. Turned him into a freaking ostrich.
Yeah, and I had no idea what had happened until I went to stand up, and I stood up and immediately fell to the left. And I was like, uh-oh, something's not right. And I looked down, and my knee's pointing the other direction.
Yeah, that sounds a little freaking painful.
Yeah, it was super painful.
So,
Well, that's
What
nasty.
the-
what
hell
did
just
you
happened
just
there?
do?
I don't
We
know.
lost all the sources. There we go.
Yep.
Hey, we're back.
We're back.
We're gonna fix that and post that.
Leave it in.
Yeah. This is us. I mean, we fuck up.
This is it. Yeah.
We
we're
don't just
serious.
fuck up. We fuck up royally.
It is a beautiful thing, though.
You ever watch amateur porn and it's like so much better than actual like professional porn because it's amateurs and it feels real and it feels like you. That's us when it comes to streaming.
Yeah,
It's like
basically.
it's a normal person who has no idea what the
like
fuck
I
they're
know
doing.
what I do, and I swear to God, but everything's right here, and I can only see out of one eye,
Well,
and it's mostly blurry, so it's like looking through a
First-
cloud.
one thing when you're holding up the phone, it was
It
underneath
is
the emblem.
literally blocked by the emblem. So he's got Streamlabs on his phone. There it is. Yeah, and Streamlabs has a little controller that he's able to be away from his computer in order to do this.
We're trying to find useful tools to help us out.
Yeah,
And it
So,
ends up being a clusterfuck. I mean,
well,
God.
it's an absolute clusterfuck because a lot of this stuff, like, you know, some of your buttons are so close together on your phone screen, you can easily hit the wrong one, which is exactly what I did. I think I actually muted one of the cameras at one point, but I don't know.
I want to say in a year
Wolfenstein
we're
does
not
that.
going to have any of these problems. I want to say that.
I want to say that too, but
But-
honestly, I'm hoping in less than a year. But you know, we'll see what happens.
we're working on it, and the more we work on it, the better it gets. So
Back to story time.
Back to story time
Back to
because our
story
ADHD brains decided to kick in.
no, because of the
Ooh,
fucking
shiny.
clusterfuck of shit that's going on.
Squirrel.
Have you not seen what we're doing? So we ended up having the whole situation happen. He ended up having his knee go out of whack, and then basically our friend Tyler decided he was going to kidnap him.
Literally.
Literally.
Not basically,
Not
literally.
basically. This is a literal thing that happened. And so Tyler decides he's going to kidnap Priest, bring him to his house. During that time, I was working at Kia. Wonderful fucking place that it was. I was trying to be a car salesman. And I was like, I can't keep driving back and forth every single day. It's going to be a kill. Because I was living like about 45 minutes away from Lake Charles, where I am now, actually. And whenever that happened, I had to, like, I was like, I just need some place to stay, like, while I'm trying to get through this work week, just to see if I actually fucking like the job. And so I went to work for them, and then my buddy Tyler's like, well, hey, just crash here, you know, like, I mean, Priest is here, but you can crash here too. And then, so I started, like, hanging out there. And then Priest was there, we were hanging, we were, you know, like, we were talking and everything, got to be really good friends, and there was one moment that we're probably not going to talk about.
I mean, We're not going to get into specifics. You can mention it, but we're not going to get into specifics.
So this is the part of the program that I like to call pulling a priest.
Did it involve someone being naked?
Well,
At one point, people
at
were
one
naked.
point in time, yeah.
At one point, people were naked. It wasn't while he was in that freaking house. I can tell you that right now. Thank
No, I
Jesus.
was definitely not in that house.
But so Priest had gotten a little better. Priest had gotten to feeling a little bit more uppity, and he decided that the thing that he was going to do is go and meet up with a friend. And whenever he met up with a friend,
Don't look at me like that.
Laser.
he had some friendly fun with the friend, and then decided to come back and was knocking on the door. I just happened to be there, and I walk up to the door and I open it, and it's Priest, and he's standing there with the biggest shit-eating grin just all over his face, and I'm just looking, and I'm like, "You got laid, didn't you?" And he's like, "Uh-huh." I mean, like a little boy that just literally just like got the last Laffy Taffy at concession. You know, like like that kind of fucking shit-eating grin. I need you to understand. I got to get that point across.
Well, you gotta take into factor too. I was on a lot of pain medications.
That three, yeah, that part.
So
He was loopy, and he decided to go fuck somebody. I mean, friendly fun.
friendly fun. And just FYI, those are basically numbing agents, so it let me have a really good time.
He was contorting in all different positions. They were trying stuff in the Kama Sutra that nobody fucking knows about.
You were only limited in one area?
Yeah.
Your leg?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck off.
It transferred power to another little smaller leg. That's what it did.
Oh, man.
If you were thinking any of us were going to be non-inappropriate,
You're
no.
dead wrong.
Sorry. This
By
is
the
not
way.
that. This is not that.
And also, this is not the point in time that it became pulling a priest. That was way later down the road.
Well, we'll get to that point in a little
Well,
bit.
you still got to finish this one.
Right. So anyway,
That was
so
just me being me.
we'll get we'll come back to the part where it was pulling a priest. We decide that it's a little bit later on down the line. I'm trying to figure out like what I'm going to do as far as living arrangements. I've been living in a town that's about 45 minutes away. I had started a new job at a electrical distribution company, and I was a
remember
driver. And so I decided that I was going to try and find me a place to live somewhere in the town that actually, you know, so I could actually fucking not have to drive 45 minutes to get to work and all this shit. And I ended up going. I was talking to Priest. Actually, I was talking to Tyler, and I was like, "Damn it, man, I gotta find some place to live." But I don't know anybody that's like, you know. And Tyler was like, "Well, what about Priest?" I was like, "What about Priest?"
Like I wasn't even an option at the time.
I was like, I mean, he's actually like, he needs someplace to go, like, and he was like, well, I think he's actually like up to be like, or his lease is about to be up, and this, that, and the other, and he's probably gonna be looking for a place, and he's like, I'll get you in touch with him, and so he texted Priest and let him know that I was, you know, the situation and all that, and then so I talked to Priest and I was like, hey man, look, I mean, we don't know each other, but we know enough about each other. I was like, Tyler says you're a pretty set-up dude. I'm not sure what he told you about me. I'm sorry if he said shit.
He didn't really tell me much. I mean, most of what I gathered from you is just from us hanging out.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, like, we kind of just had a blind trust at that point.
Yeah.
No
pun intended.
Yeah. No, God damn. I wasn't going for that.
No, I was gonna beat you to the punch.
I wasn't trying to say anything about the one eyeball. I mean, damn it.
Technically, he still has two.
What, 2 one-eyed willies?
Oh. Anyway, I was about to throw in a joke about a purple-headed yogurt slayer, but I just no, we're good. We're good. We ended up talking for a little while. We said, hey, you know, do we even know somewhere that we can pick up a place? And you were like, and he just jumps in. And he's like, I know a guy. Like, and I said, really? Like that? Just like that? Like, and he's like, yeah. Well, and so he said, my boss, technically, and it was Becca.
Yeah.
And, you know, so, like, he's like, my boss kind of knows people, and she's actually one of the people that's over this complex, and she could probably talk to her, at the time,
Boyfriend, yeah.
boyfriend, total dick. And, you know, like, he said, maybe I'll be able to get us a place pretty cheap. And I said, how cheap are you talking? And then we found out it was actually really cheap for the time.
Yeah, because there was work that I could do for the complex to keep the rent down.
And yeah, and I actually, like, we did that together for a little while.
Yep.
We were trimming hedges and doing all sorts of shit, cleaning up places, anything that we could do in order to make sure that the rent didn't go up.
Yeah.
And eventually we just kind of stopped doing that altogether. We were just like, yeah, we're good. We don't need to, whatever you got to jack the rent up to. And he's like, you guys are good.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we moved in together, and we had been living there for a while. He started dating somebody.
No names.
Yeah, we're not gonna go there.
Asterisks.
And asterisks. And so he started dating somebody, and then they decided they were gonna move in together. And I was like, well,
No. She decided we were moving in together because she didn't like staying in our apartment with me. She wanted her own space.
Wanted her own space
with me in it.
Right, with him just happening to be there. And so we were talking. We were like, man, okay, so you're gonna move out. I need somebody to move in, and we kept trying to figure out like who we were gonna talk to. And amongst all of our friends, we had there was one guy that like needed a place to go. Like he had been living with his brother, and with that whole house situation that you guys were in.
Oh, okay, so
Obese.
that's
Yeah,
how.
I know Obese.
Yeah, I was living with my stepbrother. That's how I met them two originally.
Yep.
It was at a Sunday Funday party. They only came like twice.
Sunday Fun Day. Well, by the way, that's a thing that we all kind of all get together on a Sunday, duh.
Yeah.
And we're basically drinking, having fun, doing whatever.
Barbecuing, whatever.
Barbecuing, whatever happens to be on the fucking
Yeah.
menu.
A lot of drinking.
Yeah.
A lot of drinking.
Yeah.
Except for I never really got drunk. But anyway.
But anyways, that's how I originally first met them, but didn't really hang out with them, didn't really get to know them that well.
Mm-hmm.
And then a couple of years after that, I ended up, I was working at Domino's Pizza, ended up taking a position all the way in Alexandria to run a store over there. Spent about 6 months there.
Mm-hmm.
Then things just didn't work out. Our regional manager was a complete a-hole. So we said, just, you know what, fuck you. We just flipped the store inside and out and made it better, and you're not going to acknowledge this or nothing. You just still want us to work our asses off? No. We left. No gratitude from him. So I was in the middle of packing stuff and trying to move back down to Lake Charles, and that's when I messaged Jared, say, hey, you know anybody that's looking for a roommate?
And it literally, I mean, everything. It was like, hey, look, let's see what falls in your fucking lap. And it happened to be the fact that Priest was moving out at the same time.
Yeah.
So he was like, yeah, actually. And then he told him about our situation. And so he said, well, hell yeah, man, what's the rent like? And he was like, it's this, this, and this. And he was like, shit, that's fucking cheap. And so.
And I think it stayed that price for you guys even after I moved out, didn't it?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, is kind of a shitty apartment anyway, but.
Lake Street Apartments.
It was alright.
The Chateau Lafitte.
Chateau Lafitte.
It was alright until, he decides to shut the water off when you're in the mid-shower.
Yeah.
Oh, that was,
Didn't even warn you or nothing.
Yeah, but y'all had a pool though.
yeah, that thing.
Yeah, people look down on you for bathing in the pool.
Yeah. And the bad part is, I had just finished putting body wash all over and everything. I was about to rinse off.
Oh, God.
He gets out, he's like, what the fuck happened to the water? I was like, oh, Gary literally just walked by and said something about he was going to cut the water off in 5. And he was like, couldn't think to tell anybody?
Right. You might have needed to dip in the pool.
He had soap running down the side of his face. And it was. I was like, what the fuck, man?
Anyways,
So like, funniest part of that whole situation. This is another fucking coincidence from hell. Because we're all gamers and stuff like that. We all happen to at the time. Me and him were gaming on Xbox, and me and him were big Halo nerds. And like, I always used to game online, and we were setting up everything. We were getting him moved in. He's like logging on to his Xbox and everything, setting everything up,
making sure everything works, the TV was working.
making sure the
Spoiler alert!
internet.
I was missing the corner of my screen.
Yeah.
I remember that specifically.
So I started my Xbox, and as soon as it booted up, I hear the Xbox sign in on
there's like-
his TV.
Yeah,
I'm like,
little-
oh, cool. Who just logged in? Oh yeah, some
What
friend
was
of
that?
mine that I play Halo with. What was it?
Sinister Arrow, I think.
Sinister
No,
Arrow.
was it Arrow or
Yeah.
was
It was
Sausage?
Sinister
It
Arrow.
was
It was Sinister
Arrow.
Arrow.
It was-
back
I was
then.
Yeah.
sausage. I was Sinister Sausage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sinister Arrow. I was like, I
Uh-huh.
immediately ran out that fucking room to the living room. Like, who the fuck are you? I was like, what do you mean? What's your gamer tag?
LLG Zany.
I was like,
That
no
was-
fucking shit. I'm Sinister Arrow.
And
And
y'all
I'm like,
y'all been gaming together for how many years prior to that?
We were
Three
it was
at
like-
least.
Halo Reach,
Yeah.
2010.
Yeah.
Halo
Yeah.
Reach.
That was
And that doesn't skip the fact that it didn't jog our memories that we knew each other prior when he came over for the Sunday Fun Days.
Yep.
It never registered to us the entire couple of years after that.
Well,
because
in all
your
fairness-
gamer tags don't come up in a fucking conversation.
Yeah, we didn't exactly talk about Xbox at those barbecues on Sunday.
Yeah.
Hell no, we were like,
drinking
let's it's meat. Okay, fuck yeah.
we were glugging away and eating whatever food was put
You
together.
see my KD in Halo?
And occasionally jumping in the kiddie pool to cool off.
Right.
Right.
Pose for fake walk off the earth photo
Oh,
with the
God,
Guitar
yes.
Hero with the Guitar Hero
Yes.
guitar. We had Matt with
That
us
was
back
at Tallowood.
Yeah.
then. Yeah.
That was at our
That was
apartment.
Tallowood.
That was great.
Oh man.
So yeah.
Cards Against Humanity, we used to play that shit all the time.
Yeah.
So basically, like all of these weird ass coincidences that pretty much maintained the part where we were all pretty much friends for life. And then eventually we started getting to the point where we were basically just a bunch of bored ass people because we had like nothing else to do outside of work and that. And we decided that we were thinking about doing we were looking at playing D&D and all that all the time.
Wait, I thought you already were before I moved in.
We were. I'm
Okay,
kind of sounding things
I
a
remember-
little out of order.
I remember it was the weekend
I'm
after.
trying to get it.
Back it up.
I'm trying to get around to the part where basically I was going to introduce Jay.
So you time skip. Oh, yeah.
A little bit.
This,
A little bit.
Because like when I
Poquito.
introduced Jay, is when like the first time I played D&D with y'all was the weekend following after I moved in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
like,
know it was extremely shortly after. I
Aaron
moved
and I were sitting. We were doing the D&D games was that when we were still living together that
At
we
the
started
apartment,
this?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
we were still living together when we started doing those D&D games.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then when you moved in, I think we were still doing it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't very often.
No, it was every Sunday.
Oh, it was every Sunday. That's
yeah,
right.
it was-
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Every Sunday, Mike was our
that's whenever
DM,
we,
Sean was there,
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Garrett was there.
we had that little square table
Yeah.
set up in the miniature dining room that we
Yeah.
would play at.
Right.
It
Yeah.
was so because if we weren't playing D&D, we were playing poker for pennies.
Yeah. We were doing like penny poker.
We would show up
We
on
had-
Thursday
we had the
nights.
chips and everything.
Yeah, we would show up on Thursday nights with a Ziploc bag full of pennies and just fucking bet pennies all night long. Mike
Yeah.
cleaned us out a couple of times.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it.
This is like 2013. Y'all were playing for pennies?
For pennies,
Yeah.
Dude, we used to do that at
We had
family
nothing
reunions.
else to do with them. I mean, pennies were just stacking up. We had to
I
find a way to
guess.
use them.
I guess.
Yeah, we,
It's illegal to melt them down.
We'd at least do
Yeah.
quarters, but alright.
No, this is cheap shit. We
Dude,
were like, I mean, we were broke ass motherfuckers.
every year at our
Who's
family
paying for a
reunions.
McDouble this week?
Actually, we did do that.
That's what I'm saying.
Pay for all the
Winter buys and double.
Who's buying me the game bang? Let's go.
So we had, whenever we started playing D&D, I guess we can bring up Mike in that
Yeah.
situation. Priest was one of the guys that, you know, Priest is our guy that knows a guy pretty much. Like he's the guy. Oh yeah, man, I know somebody that can help out with that. You know, this, that, and the other. He's that guy. And we were sitting there trying to figure out, like, if we were going to be starting up a D&D thing, like, who in the hell is actually going to DM? I was like, I've never even fucking done it. I don't have a clue. I don't have any of the books, nothing like that. And he's like, well, I got this dude that actually used to live in Cali. His whole family's pretty much here now. And he actually used to game with Gary Gygax.
Yep.
And I was like, huh? I was like the? And he was like, yeah. He used to actually like and run. He used to be a dungeon master. He used to run sessions at like the cons and all that stuff. And I think he might actually like have some free time on his hands if we want to try and get him to be the DM.
Yeah, so Mike Sackett is the guy that he's talking about, and I've known Mike since I was 15 years old. I met him through his daughter Shelly. Shelly and I were both part of the music scene back in California, and we ran a lot of shows together, performed at a lot of the same shows, and I got to know her dad. Mike was like a second dad to me.
Yeah.
When I moved out here, it was because of Shelly. Shelly got me. Everything had gone south for me back in Texas, and she was like, "Hey, if you want to get out of Texas, I can get you over here. I can get you working with my sister with a lawn company." I was like, "I'll see you in 3 days." So I grabbed up a duffel bag of donated clothes, jumped on a Greyhound bus, and boom, here I am. 13 years later, still here.
Mm-hmm.
But Mike, he actually got me into D&D.
Right.
And because I would do one shots with him back then, and when you had brought up about wanting to get one going, that's why I immediately thought of Mike, because I remember Mike telling me all the stuff that he did at the cons and some of the tables that he used to sit at and run sessions at, and all of his daughters had gone to the cons before, but none of them really ever got into D&D. So I was like that son that he accidentally picked up and,
Right.
and got stuck with.
The puppy that never left.
The puppy
right,
that
yeah.
never left. Like, well, you know, the fact that I'm a military brat. You know, my dad was in the military for years, so Mike and my dad got along great. They would sit there and exchange war stories, and then Mike would tell me about random shit that he would do after he got out of the military.
Right.
And then he would play D&D with me. So we started doing the D&D games. It was you, me, and I can't even remember how Sean got brought into all that. I think that was through Tyler as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Sean was kind of our friend that was connected amongst friends, and I remember. So Sean knew Tyler and all that, right?
Yeah.
I knew Sean through some of the stuff that we did as brown coats.
That's right, because you guys are the ones that had to explain to me that Firefly and Serenity were the same thing, because I didn't even know that there was a fucking TV series at the time. I was like, what the fuck is a brown coat? It's from Firefly. I was like, what's Firefly? And you started describing it, and I went, that's Serenity. No, that's based on the show Firefly. I was like, there's a fucking show?
Yeah. Still to this day, I've only seen the movie.
Oh man,
I have all 14 episodes. You can borrow it.
It's on.
It
Isn't it
still
on
hurts,
Plex?
man.
On the Plex that we have? I
Yeah.
guess where it was.
Yeah. But it still hurts even talking about the fact that they only had one season of that shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, they tried to bring it all back whenever they had Serenity, but the thing that happened was I got to talking with Sean and them, and basically me and Sean became really good friends. Didn't even realize at the time that he was friends with Tyler. Tyler's on the phone one day, and he says, and I'm like walking in the door from work or something, and I'm like, hey man, what's up? And he's like, yeah, I'm on the phone with my buddy, and I was like, okay. And he said he's probably going to be coming over a little bit later. And I said, all right. So then, like, I end up leaving and going down to the store. And then I ended up spending like 2 or 3 hours away from the house. And apparently in that time, somebody had actually busted in, broken in, or something to Tyler's house. And whenever I pull up, like the cops are leaving, I walk in, Sean is literally the only person standing there. I'm like, hey, who are you? And he's like, I'm Sean. I'm like, okay. I'm like, wait a minute. Don't I know you? And he's like, yeah, I think. And then we kind of realized that we knew each other from the brown coat stuff that we went to all the time. And I was like, you were hanging out with Aaron a bunch. He was like, yeah. And I was like, wait, you know Tyler? And I was like, yeah, man. Tyler's been a friend of mine since he was 16 or 17 years old. And he was like, well, shit. And he's like, well, how did you get here? And I was like, I don't live but about 15, 45 minutes away. I was like, remember that's how I showed up to the first meeting and all that. He's like, yeah, but man, this is really weird. And I was like, yes, of course, because that's how everything else in this like all of our lives. I was like, I mean, if you want to talk about it's a small world after all, that's exactly how this shit ends up turning out for us. Because we ended up coming across all these different coincidences where we all meet up and we're like, but I know you from here, and I know you from here, and I know you from here. And then it all just kind of came together. So anyway, so Sean had been a longtime friend of mine, and he had known. How did Sean? Was that the way that you met Sean? Was through this thing?
So, I met Sean same time I met you, when Tyler kidnapped me.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because I was sleeping on the couch, and they were the ones keeping me on my
your medications.
Yeah, the meds that I apparently still need. They were the one keeping me on my medication regimen, and you and Sean had come over to visit, and that's when we had met. And I think Sean and I actually started talking then about D&D because I forget what it was that he had brought up. Somehow we got on
Munchkin
top.
or something like that. It was
Munchkin. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Love
He had
Munchkin.
brought up Munchkin, and I told him, I'd never played Munchkin, and we started talking about different games and stuff, and I had mentioned D&D, and he's like, I've never played D&D. I was like, well, you should definitely try it out, and give you a chance to be something other than what you are, be a character. Everything you do gets to influence how everything plays out with the story or whatnot. And we got into a pretty deep conversation on that, and then he found out that I had been working on my own for a little while, and we kept that conversation going up until the point, I think that's actually when you and I initially started talking about playing D&D together, because I think you actually
we were actually
in that
trying to test
conversation.
it. Yeah, we were testing it all out, right? Like your whole different system that you were wanting to try, and
Yeah, that didn't fucking work at all. But
it worked and it didn't work. It worked up until the point that we were like, okay, it's probably easier just to use D&D.
yeah,
And then that's literally how it became what it was. Like, I mean, like we were just like, let's just go for let's just go and do 4th edition or whatever the fuck.
yeah.
And
I think
so-
we were still doing 3.5 at the time, because 5th hadn't even come out yet.
Right? Yeah, it's like 3.5, and we were like, fuck 4th edition.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not to say the 4th edition was terrible, but it fucking was.
It was terrible.
And so
Yeah, 5th edition came out in what, 2014, 2015?
it was.
Right.
I think it was probably later than that.
We were
I think it
playing
was later than
when
that.
I jumped in. We were playing
2016 or
5th
something.
edition.
No, we were still on 3.5.
We were still on 3.5. Yeah.
5th edition only came out last year.
I don't know about last year, but
No.
it's
Last
been
year or the
it's
year
been
before?
a couple of years or more.
Yeah.
You know what? It might have been like
16?
I think it was like 2019 or something.
2019 or 2020.
Really?
20. I think it's like 2018, 2019, because like I think that all of us kind of forget that, like, basically 2020 and 2021 just kind of all fucked up everybody's lives.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
so
like, we just kind of forget that, like, actually 4 or 5 years ago, it literally still means, like, 2018, 2019. We're just like, no, that was last year. No,
Everyone's
because
concept.
everybody just doesn't fucking care about 2020, 2021.
Everyone's concept of time is just off.
Yeah,
Like mine
2020
is.
Yeah.
2020 and 2021 for us was
Just
just
a
one
fucking
continuous
blur.
nightmare because back-to-back hurricanes, a freeze, a flood, a pandemic, all hit at the same fucking time for us.
I mean, Jesus. Dude. I mean, like, it wasn't, because it wasn't just a fucking pandemic for us. It was a pandemic, and hey, did you hear about that fucking thing that flattened half the state? That was Laura and Delta.
yeah.
And literally happened within 2 weeks of each other.
One more natural disaster or one more sort of pandemic level event, it would have been apocalyptic
Bingo.
world in
Yeah.
Louisiana, Texas.
It literally, I was like, okay, I need my apocalypse bingo card, and that'll pretty much black this shit out.
Yeah. We had bingo.
Yeah.
We had
we had
bingo.
bingo a long time ago.
Real life D&D, bitch.
Yeah.
Roll for initiative.
Roll for fucking initiative.
You want me to
Uh,
fight a hurricane? Yep.
Yep. And you're gonna do it twice.
And you gotta go into the eye. The item that you
Who's
need
my
is in the
guy?
eye.
Who's my god
Unarmed.
again? Because he's being a real asshole.
Ite is your god at this point.
Unarmed, no prep, go.
Bring your potions.
What about rations? You
Oh,
have none.
we brought
Water.
potions
You're
all
out.
right. It was beer and vodka and rum.
Gasoline?
And whiskey.
Yeah, we're not even talk about the part where we're actually fucking bartenders together.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that eventually.
So anyway, yeah. So we were doing the D&D thing, and we eventually got around to where Jay was getting involved with it. We had since moving. Since he like at that point you had moved in with girlfriend,
Yeah.
and Drew was in the house with us, and we were basically just trying to shift things over to because we had Matt Corley and everybody else jumping in.
Yeah, we needed a bigger space.
And,
we also had Eric.
Well,
Eric
yeah.
Welch, and we had
And
Amber, and
I
can't
actually-
forget about Amber. Amber, we miss you. Damn it, we
If
miss
I remember correctly, I brought Jay in.
During
the
that
week-
campaign.
you during that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like a week after I joined that campaign. So I was telling him
Yeah,
about it.
so the first time I went to visit your apartment when you moved in, y'all had started talking about D&D, and I hadn't played D&D at this point. I've always wanted to, and I knew what it was, of course. But I did play Halo with Zany over here. That's when that was brought up, and I was like, no shit, I remember you from like 2 years ago.
Right.
Played SWAT all the time with you.
Fucking destroying people.
But yeah, that's the first time that they brought up D&D, and I was like, that sounds interesting. I would love to do that. Like, I love talking. Y'all know me. I don't shut the fuck up.
Oh, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
So I was like, yeah, that sounds like something right up my alley. So we ended up playing, I think, one session at that apartment.
Yeah.
And actually, the first session that I showed up for, I just watched.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
Just
yeah.
to test it out, see how it was.
They were like, Jay, come on, if you like it, you can join, no problem. You can just fill in a spot. I was hooked. I was like, in the middle of the session, I was just like Googling how to roll a character, how to,
Yeah.
I'm pretty
It's like,
sure
already
you had
knows.
your character almost completely rolled up before we even finished that
Absolutely.
session.
Here's the
Like, he was
funny
over there on the
part.
side with like a priest and everything getting set up.
I absolutely was set up and ready to go. I was like, this I am all about.
But here's the funny part. I was playing a gnome. A technomancer gnome.
Oh gosh.
Jay rolled his up as a dwarf.
You were playing a wizard.
Y'all were
Yeah, it was a
half brothers.
wizard
You
that
were-
turned into a technomancer.
Juan
Yeah.
Dinkelberg. Dinkelberg?
Juan Dinkelberg.
Juan
Juan
Dinkelberg.
Dinkelberg.
And I was
Mainly for the reason if I did something, somebody would be Dinkelberg.
I don't remember my character's first name, but my last name was Derpa Derp. And I was a dwarven fighter.
Yeah.
And I had this really, really awesome hammer that Mike actually ended up giving me. And it was a hammer of anything. And
Oh God, I remember that.
Yeah.
I could turn it into anything, and
And
that bitch
You
was
made
Mjolnir.
Yeah, it is exactly.
It
what you did.
was Mjolnir, but it could also just literally turn it. I could turn it into a spear. I can turn it into a platform disc that I can ride, and because my character couldn't swim, so I need to hover over water, and Mike was so creative too. Like
Oh, yeah.
no one on planet Earth, I think, that I've ever met was as
that
creative
shit
on the
together.
spot. We fucked everything up. He would have a plan. He would have a plan, and just in the first 5 minutes of our session, he's basically having to improvise already, and he doesn't
Yeah.
miss a beat. That's the thing. You wouldn't know. It wouldn't be till after the session where he's like,
Oh.
I had like 4 pages,
Yeah,
like a novel of this, and I had to scrap it like in the first 5 minutes
Yeah.
because our
Somebody
lizard
took a
decided to
left.
climb a wall and do this.
He even said during one of those sessions that
No, it was,
of
it was
all the different sessions that he's ran, we were the only group that consistently
Went against.
fucked up every session.
I think what really threw his plans out the window was the time that we were hunting down those vampires in the dungeon, and
Oh
we
my
killed the
God.
vampire Matt.
Matt killed the
Matt,
vampire
He
queen.
was immune to being charmed, but Mike had totally forgot about
He
it.
cut her head off.
It
Walked
wasn't even
up,
just
cut her
that.
head off, and his exact expression was like,
'Cause
"Well,
his-
shit,
yeah,
you weren't supposed to kill her until the next 2 sessions."
his
what the
sword
fuck?
was Vorpal.
Yeah, well, the other thing too was he forgot what kind of cleric he was.
Yeah.
It's a fucking
He's a
sun
fucking
cleric.
sun
And he
cleric.
had that fucking sword, that
Yeah.
scimitar that was a Vorpal freaking scimitar.
Yeah.
And he had
So
the
just
dragon familiar.
lopped off the fucking head of this bitch, just
Like
and like
we all went through there. We were, for the most part, that was one of the most stealthy sessions we had
Yeah.
ever run.
Yeah.
And we get into that room
And Matt was off by himself too.
yeah, we get into that room and we just pop up out of nowhere and just start wrecking shop. Matt right there by the queen.
well, yeah. The thing was, is like he's standing outside, she vamps outside to mess with him.
Yeah.
Like she's like outside, like 'cause remember this? There was like this big ass fucking temple floor that had like 50 fucking rooms in it,
Yeah.
or 100 rooms, I think he actually
Wait,
said.
weren't we in the main dining room? They had archers along on the top balcony of the dining room
Like
aimed at us.
the room that we had went into was like the great hall of the
Yeah.
place, but it was still like just this off to the side fucking room up there.
yeah.
And like that was the thing, like he's like standing outside and he's just trying to like, I think he's like about to come in because I think all of us had to file in kind of one by one. And then he's standing outside just chilling. And so the vampire queen just kind of exits through one door, kind of rolls around the side and like just walks up to him and he's like, and she charms you. And he's like, okay. And then he's like, and she starts walking up to you. And he's like, okay. And he's just like, I just turn around, I look at her and I smile. And he's like, she's right next to you. She's reaching out towards you. And he's like, and I roll to attack. And Mike's like, no, you're charmed. He's like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
What was his role?
He was a sun cleric.
No.
Right?
What was his D20 roll?
I think he
Was
actually
it?
critted.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
was it?
critted on
did,
that.
he
Yeah,
did.
that's what I thought.
Which just made it that much more
Yes.
epic.
I mean, he's like, I roll to attack, and he fucking rolls a nat 20. Critical fucking roll. Critical success out of all things.
Yeah.
And so, like, and Mike's like, I thought no, you can't, you're charmed. And he's like, no, I'm not. He's like, I'm a sun cleric, and I cannot be charmed. I think by anybody.
By anybody.
Like,
He was
his
immune to
fucking
charm.
thing. He's immune to charm. And he says, well, shit. He says, roll damage. And so he rolled the fucking, he's like, well, I mean, you critted, so like, I guess really, I can't really say anything. And he's like, go ahead and roll your damage. And I think he rolled like pretty high too. And he was like,
Yeah,
Damn near
and
max.
double that. And then basically just,
How do you want to kill her?
Yeah.
and he's like, I cut off her fucking head.
Yeah, and it's like that. You guys were supposed to. This fight was supposed to go for at least 2-3 more sessions, and
Yeah.
now I got to figure out what I'm gonna do.
And
It's
we
just-
had all sorts of shit go on with that campaign. Oh,
Oh
my
my God.
God.
I think that's still my favorite campaign.
it's definitely
It
one of
is.
my favorites.
It
'Cause, I
is.
mean, just between our characters from that campaign, the love-hate
first thing
relationship.
the first thing that we did whenever our characters met up, and I'm like this 9 foot tall whale man that if you ever heard of Star Wars had this race called the Herglics.
Yep.
And I pulled in that race into this game.
Yep. And I was running a Simvon from Rifts.
Yeah.
Because Mike told us pull from any game we wanted to. And I love the way the Simvon looked, and it was the perfect assassin style character.
And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at all this like, this is probably not going to go well.
Yeah.
And like our first session that we actually played sitting down at the table was my character meeting his character. We bumped into each other outside the bar. I had just lost a gambling match because Hercules had a real bad gambling
More
thing.
accurately, your character bumped into my character who was sitting down enjoying a drink.
Right. But basically, I had just lost
Tons of money.
a ton of money, gambling. So I was like already just pissed off. So after I bump into him, spilled his drink, he turns around, mad as hell at me, and we're just about to, is either we just about to start fighting or we actually throw a couple punches and then something happens.
So, I don't remember exactly what was said, but it was something to the extent of, well, we can take care of this right there. And we walked out into the street.
And then every fucking thing happened.
We went to charge each other. And that's when Mike said, as you guys are about to hit each other, you get swarmed by, I think it was kobolds?
I think so. Either kobolds
And-
or gnolls.
Gnolls, yeah.
Yeah, like because I was like, we don't just get like them.
You had already rolled for your swing.
Yeah.
And I told Mike, I said, well, I slide down on my knee, go underneath the swing, and hit the gnoll on the other side of him. And he said, roll for it. I succeeded on the roll, so I hit the one behind you, and you said, I'm carrying through and hitting whatever's in front of me.
And I literally like clocked like 3 of them on the one swing. Like he's like, I'll let you hit all 3.
Yep.
And so I like take out 3 freaking gnolls in the one thing, and he takes out the one guy behind me, and then we turn around, like our characters turn around, look at each other, and we're like, good job. And we go like to start cleaning all the rest of them's clocks.
Yeah, we spent about 5 minutes just mopping up everything that was coming out of everywhere from the street, and as soon as we killed the last 2,
Right.
we were literally side by side, back to back, essentially.
Uh-huh.
We killed the last 2 of the gnolls, and we turned on each other and swung.
We're like, where were we? And we were like, wait a minute, why are we doing this?
Well, Mike says, right when you guys go to swing, you immediately get frozen in place. We were,
Yeah.
to hit each other, and this mage came out of nowhere and froze us.
Yeah.
And then we reluctantly agreed to work together.
Yep.
And it was a love-hate relationship for the rest of the campaign. And then their characters got brought in. And they became human ammo for a lot of it.
Yeah. We were chunking gnomes and dwarves and everything. We were
balling the dwarf.
I got thrown a lot.
Didn't we shoot you, like literally shoot you through something's asshole?
So
No.
it was a
Or was that
worm.
you?
I got thrown inside of a worm and came out the other end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a giant worm, like the height of a house, but the length of a subway train.
Yeah.
And I ended up I had my hammer, like the first day I got my hammer, this happened. And I was like, I want to test this. I ended up going in the mouth, like it ate me, and then I ended up coming through the ass. But I busted through it and killed it that way.
Just shucked it.
And I was like, I really like this hammer. Hope I never lose it. Turns out I can actually recall that hammer from anywhere.
Yep.
I actually,
You did that one.
I did that. I actually got someone
We all of us had to be disarmed once. I remember.
No, well, so we were at a bar, and someone was wanting to fight me or something, or like made a bet with me. They're like, yeah, I'll bet you your hammer or whatever, and I lost the bet. So they won my hammer, and then we were like halfway, like we were miles away, and I was just like, all right, come on back, hammer.
We called it back.
Yeah. But I do remember like one time like we had gotten into a situation, we had all gotten disarmed, and we were like,
I think I also used it
how are we supposed to like get our fucking stuff back? And I was like, well, I mean, if anything else, I mean, you got a 9-foot tall fucking beastly dude here, and you got this crazy ass Simvon that can pretty much that can actually spider climb.
Yeah.
You've got the gnome guy who can pretty much make anything an animated weapon.
Magic missiles, a
A lot. He fucking used magic missiles a lot. And then I said, so if anything else, I mean, we're not exactly unarmed. And then Jay's like, I'm not unarmed at all.
I'm never unarmed.
Yeah.
and so like we're literally disarmed, walking into this place. We're facing off against, I think it was the Thieves Guild
Yeah.
in that city, and like they start getting all uppity because you guys are disarmed. You're not gonna be able to do it. And like they've got guys with crossbows and stuff, and they're all trained on us. And Mike's like, "So how do you proceed?" And I was like, "Okay." And so if we don't do what they tell us to do, they're going to have the guys with the crossbow shoot us. Yep. I was like, "Hey, Dirk, want to handle this?"
Yep.
And he snaps his fingers and recalls the hammer, and he's like, "I fucking forgot about that hammer."
Yep. And they were so distracted they didn't, because my character had the ability to go invisible,
Mm-hmm.
and I had this hide and shadow ability, and I could literally hide in your toenails shadow.
Right.
Right.
They were so distracted they never even saw me disappear.
Right.
And yours lets you shrink.
Yeah.
Cause
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to that story in a second.
Can you also like climb any wall, like basically?
Yeah,
Like,
he
My-
had the spider climb.
I had the spider climb. Those were my two special abilities that I was gifted: spider climb and hide and shadow.
Yeah.
And so I disappeared. I think you shrunk or got bigger. It was one of the two.
I think I shrank, and then like I went like over behind the other dude, and then I got bigger.
Mm-hmm. And then these two just have their attention.
Magic missiles
yeah.
out the ass.
He starts launching one of the longest magic missile assaults I've ever seen in a D&D game.
Like, he did it at level 1, but like at that point he had like I think 6 level 1 spell slots, so pretty much every round magic missile.
Every
missile,
Yeah.
and just hitting everybody. And then this guy like literally just throws his Mjolnir and like it's spinning around and hitting everybody up top and knocking out the guys with the crossbows and stuff. I'm
And
like, well,
Eric, he was running a bard, so he went rage.
I forgot you're barbarian.
Bard.
He was
Yeah.
barbarian.
Yeah,
yeah.
it was a barbarian. He was going rage.
He went rage.
Gary was the wood elf.
Gary was
Gary
playing
was
too.
the
He was a drow. He was a
I
drow.
forgot about
wood
that.
The
elf.
Yeah.
Ranger's a drow, right?
He was
Yeah,
running
He was
the
a
ranger.
drow. I forgot
Yeah.
about
And
Always
And
running around
Sean
wearing his
was a
goggles and shit.
Kaizaku,
that.
so
We had such a big party.
Yeah.
And then Amber, what was
Massive
Amber?
party.
Yeah,
Amber was-
Sean
She was a bard, right?
yeah,
She was a
She
tiefling.
was
She
the-
was the tiefling.
She
bard.
was the
yeah,
bard.
she was a tiefling bard. Yeah.
Jesus.
And like we landed this all-out assault on Thieves Guild, all because of you calling your hammer just went to absolute
Yeah.
shit for them.
I was a dwarven fighter. They like to fight. What do you want from me?
No, I just remember I said, okay, well then, Derp, you want to handle this for us? And so because like we were
I already knew I was
I
gonna
think
do
you
that.
need to realize that we're not going to do what you want us to do.
Yeah, this is not going the way you think it's
Well, we have a
gonna go.
mission from God.
God.
Oh man, that was the thing.
Oh,
Yep.
we're on a mission from God.
That was
And
right.
Matt
that
would
whole
say
time.
it so perfectly.
Yep. Well, what's funny is when all that shit broke off, that's exactly what he said.
Yeah.
He calls his hammer in and goes, "Yep," and Matt goes, "We're on a mission from God," and all hell broke loose.
Oh, that was the perfect thing.
You know what's crazy about the campaign? That campaign. You play in a 6-player campaign now, and it takes forever for like turns to go by. I felt like we were just so swift with it.
We knew what
We wanted to do before.
Yeah.
But even when me and you first started out, we had all of them who was experienced,
Yeah.
and we would always sit by one of them,
Yeah.
and they're like, okay, so you need to do this, or you can do this.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
This would be most helpful.
I just felt like we played so quickly for as
Oh,
many
yeah.
people as we had. What, 8 people?
Yeah, I think we had about 8 or 9 people at one
And
point. 'cause
we
we
played
added somebody
so
else later on.
quickly.
Tyler got added to that
A little bit,
campaign
yeah.
just before the prank war started.
Fucking hell.
And you have a 5 or 6-player campaign these days, and I feel like it doesn't. Every single one I have over 4, I feel like you're waiting forever.
Yeah. Well, I think the significant difference there is even with you guys at the time not really being that experienced, you knew how you wanted to play your characters,
Yeah.
and you knew the limitations of your characters. And like I was an experienced player, you You were.
I played D20 Modern with in Star Wars D20.
Yeah, so
Enough to
you were
kinda
still relatively familiar with how everything worked.
I just had no idea how the D&D world worked.
Yeah, and then Mike as a DM, Mike was one of those guys that
Kind of coached you as
he
he
kind of
told
coached you
what
through it,
was going on.
so you were able to move pretty quickly. It didn't take a whole lot to get a scene to actually move
Yeah.
thoroughly. And most of the time, all of us were 9 steps ahead. We had multiple routes as far as decisions.
I know Eric for sure had already planned his next 3 attacks.
Oh yeah.
Eric was always ready. Like
Yeah.
He would plan his attacks and then be like, if I can't do this when it's my turn, I'm gonna do this.
Yep.
Like he had his routes.
I mean, even now playing with Eric,
he still does it.
He still does it.
Beginning of the fight, he already he's like playing chess with this.
Yeah.
He makes he waits for the first move, and then he's figured everything out what needs to fucking happen to him.
Yeah.
And he knows what other
And
people
he
are
knows
going to
it's
do.
coming. He knows what's coming. He knows how to go around it.
What's crazy is he knew what other people were going to do before
Exactly.
they did it too. Like, he would know what my fighter was wanting to, like, he would know what I was going to choose before I actually
I
even
think that's mainly because we
crazy.
played our characters the same way. He already knew what our thought process
Yeah.
for our characters were.
Yeah.
So
We've
he
all
worked around
effectively
it.
played more or less the same style of character, so he kind of caught on to everybody's play style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is always an advantage.
Pretty much. So yeah, we've definitely had our fun times over the years, doing our D&D stuff, and then life kind of always has a way of kind of getting away from you.
Yeah.
People kind of moved on. A couple of us have been married and divorced. A couple of us have, just kind of done other shit. One of us has had a fucking baby.
I did no such thing.
You did nothing. That guy did. One of us has gone from being a mechanic to being an assembly guy. I have gone to being a disabled fucker.
Pizza maker to mechanic to lube tech to now MC assembly.
Yeah.
From chef to assembler.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So, I mean, we've definitely all kind of had our road to riches.
Yeah.
Our case of that didn't work.
Yeah, well, that didn't work. I think that
Our current motto.
Yeah.
God,
Oh,
bless,
yeah.
man. Like how much of that has unfolded and happened exactly pretty much how to show us that motto fits our.
I counted 5 times today.
Just-
In the last 3 hours.
Just in the last 3 hours. Just in the last 2 weeks, I'm pretty sure I've set a world record for that didn't work. Like, I should be in the Guinness Book of World Records for figuring out things that don't work.
I think we've been filming for longer than the time it took us to set up,
Yeah.
which is not a good ratio.
No.
2 hours at least. I got here at 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, me
No,
and
we've been
Chris.
filming for less time
Yes.
Yes.
than it took us to set
That's
up.
what I'm saying.
I was here at
Yeah.
I think
4:30.
we've been filming for less time than it took us to set up.
Yeah.
I was here at 4:30. Me and Priest started. You called me to go pick you up.
A block away, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah.
I could have walked. Guess what? Didn't want to.
So
Yeah.
by the time I got Jay here, it was like 1 or 2 minutes after 5. And then we're still screwing around with that till well after.
Well
6.
after the allotted time that
Yeah.
we were supposed to
7.
start.
We finally got rolling at 7.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's
So
literally-
it's been a road, guys. It's been a fucking road. And this is just to do this for you. So be happy. No,
Yeah.
just kidding. Kidding.
We put 3 hours of work into a 1 hour video.
Glass table, dude.
Yeah, but it is fucking.
No, it's class.
It's class size.
Yeah.
Someone's already chipped this end of it.
Sorry, I thought it was fucking plexiglass. My bad.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
the real deal, baby.
It's also
That's
very
the real
furry underneath.
Yeah, it's very furry.
I've been stroking the furry wall.
Jay,
I'm leaving that one alone.
Alrighty then.
On that,
You never
note-
seen Get Him to the Groove?
Yes, I've seen it.
So yeah, we've definitely had our time together, and not all good situations.
It's been a ride, a roller coaster, up down.
Yeah.
Left, right.
We've lost a few people along the way.
Yep.
Lost some good friends of ours. Rest in peace, Sean and Mike.
Yep.
Plenty of other ones we know.
Yeah, I've lost a few recently. But it's also brought us a lot closer. You know, we've been friends for... what year is it?
2023.
For me,
So-
I came in 10 years ago.
Yeah, you
That's-
came in 10 years ago.
For y'all,
and
probably a few years before that at least.
2011, I think, is when...
See.
I think it was
13,
2010. Or no, 2014 is when we... Right?
No.
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 It was
No.
2014 is when I
2012.
started at Bolton Ford.
2011 or 2012.
Yeah, since 2012. So it's been 11 years for us.
Yeah.
No.
No,
Longer.
it's been 12 years.
12 years.
Had to have been. At
Yeah,
least
'cause
12.
It was 2011.
Because I was still working at Domino's Pizza when I met y'all the first time at the Sunday Fun Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So since,
And-
it's been you and me since
yeah.
2011. Because that's when I was actually working at Huddle Up.
And I
Yeah.
think I might have been the following year.
Yeah.
Because I started Bolton Ford in 2014.
So 12 years for us, 11 years with the three of us, and
It might have been really
Two-
late 2012.
2014.
But
'Cause that's when
2013
I-
at least.
When
It was
I
2013.
started Bolton Ford. And,
It was before that.
no. Like, I had recently quit Domino's Pizza not that long after moving with Aaron. Like, less than a year.
We moved into Tallowood in like January
I
of
think you were still
2014.
working at a Domino's whenever you moved in.
Yeah, I was when I first moved in. But less
And
than a
then,
year, I left Domino's
Yeah, you
when I
went
started
to
working at Bolton Ford.
Yeah.
And then I picked Domino's back up as delivery driver after I got my new car to help catch up on bills and stuff.
Right.
That lasted for about a year, and then I left.
yeah.
I was
Yeah.
at Domino's for 6 years total.
Yeah, on the short end of it, I mean, 10 years is still a really long time for a bunch of people that got close as friends and basically became family over a D&D game.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we went from that campaign gave us our original streaming name where we had the clan tag with LODW as the Legends of Darkwater,
Yep.
which none of us really put two and two together until people started saying, you mean like the cartoon? Like,
Yeah. Like
no,
the,
but
like the
it's a good
Pirates of
comparison.
Dark Water.
Pirates
right?
of Darkwater.
Yeah.
But we were the Legends of Darkwater, and we never even thought that one through. And then we've been LODW for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And this year we decided with moving forward and trying to actually focus harder on doing the streams and starting this with the podcast, which is brand new to us.
Starting fresh.
Starting fresh, decided with the name change, and the name change with going to Necroton Knights, coming up with the logo, finding our new motto.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's been a
Well,
journey.
that
that's
did
for damn
work.
Sure. That did work.
That actually that's the
Yeah.
that's the one thing that actually kind of came together and said, well, what do you think about this?
It happened so fucking fast too.
Yeah.
Like, if you condense the time frame from the 3 days that it was spread out over and the amount of time it was actually spent doing it, it only took us 3 hours to come up with a name and a logo.
Basically.
Mm-hmm.
And like we were like
It took
we've
us a
been-
week to come up with Legends of Darkwater.
Well, yeah, in a way, yeah. I mean, the thing that I was doing with that, I think we literally it was between sessions. Like we were sitting there like, well, what are we even gonna call ourselves?
Yeah.
And so I was sitting there and I was like, well, I'll come up with something. You guys, I guess we'll figure it out by next week. And like we had texted each other a couple times during the week, and I was like, well, like I really like this insignia that I found. And we had found the Mandalorian and Assassin's Creed symbols had kind of been overlaid over each other.
Yeah, the Mandalorian Creed.
And the Mandalorian Creed is what, like a lot of stuff is floating around online. They had a few people that put the little logos together, and I was like, I really like this symbol. And then I said, and I think that, I mean, with everything that our characters are starting to get into, I was like, I kind of like the idea of us being like, because at the time we were thinking about I was trying to do a pirate campaign.
Yeah.
Like I actually wanted us to all have like pirate style characters, have our own boats, eventually build our own fleet and armada and just take on
Yeah.
shit. Like I had this whole other idea. Mike just said, "Well, I'm the DM. I'll figure that out."
Yeah.
and then it eventually turned into a land campaign where we were going through a fucking big ass undead temple. And with all the stuff that we did, I was just like, I think we should like kind of. I mean, I think that all the stuff that we're going to end up getting into and all this stuff, I think we're going to be pretty legendary. And so it was like legends. I was like, and we're going to be pirates. I was like, the dark water, you know, like I mean, and then I came up with like this whole poem and things that kind of go along with it. And I said, yeah, I kind of like the idea of it being like us being the legends of dark water. And so like that kind of took off from there. And then like we literally became legends after that. We like one of us became. I've eventually developed my character to literally be a descendant of Aite. He became like this master assassin. This guy literally went on to build his own college and take over half the freaking city. Built an entire automaton that actually became the walls of the city.
Yep.
I think your guy was just like this dwarven kick-ass guy that was running around doing everything.
Yeah, he became a story of legend.
Yeah, and so all of our characters, you know, like as many D&D characters tend to do whenever they leave the campaign or whatever, they tend to have their own stories that lead to greatness and.
Yep.
And then crossovers into other
Other
campaigns
other
that we
campaigns,
have,
yes.
honestly.
Yep.
Like we still had other places where our people were popping up and.
Most recently, I mean, I think your two characters popped up in that one that we were doing.
Oh yeah, I had
Oh,
one.
yeah.
I had one campaign where the players themselves actually something happened in the real world, and it pulled the D&D world into reality, and they became their characters. And his character was actually a descendant of my very first D&D character.
Oh, neat.
Yep.
So there's another
So yeah, the Bloodhoof
It was-
bloodline
And then
continued.
we had the
Those-
other campaign after that one that we visited his college that he had
Yeah.
started.
Yep.
And then I think we actually visited him, right?
Yeah.
Like, was it?
Yeah. He actually hired us specifically.
That's
to
right.
Hired us to go on a job.
Get his hammer back, basically.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The thing.
And we were supposed to become pirates in that campaign.
Yeah.
I mean,
We
we
were
did.
working there.
We did. Technically, we had a
You
ship.
were on.
No, it
the
wasn't our ship yet.
Yeah.
It was going to be our ship.
Like
It was
you
gonna
actually
be.
started out as a pirate.
No.
You were hanging out with Scheherazade. Yes, you were. Scheherazade had brought you on her boat, and yeah, and remember she was your mentor. She's the one that spread.
No. I'm talking about Priestess Thursday campaign.
We're talking about.
Oh, we're
another
talking
campaign.
about a completely other. Yeah, I'm
No,
talking
no.
about his campaign. His campaign is the one where we.
Oh,
went
that's right.
looking
That's
for that.
right.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that
playing
was
so
the
many
hammer.
campaigns.
There's a lot of stuff.
Okay,
There were-
so
there were
yeah,
two going on
yeah.
at once at that point.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we had your campaign on Sundays, and then I had a Thursday night campaign.
We
Yeah.
play D&D a lot.
A
Yeah.
lot.
So there was a lot of that going on.
Okay,
Now-
so yeah, the one for that campaign, I was playing a goblin necromancer.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Right, 'cause
I was a
Minotaur.
Shokan in that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was a Minotaur
Yeah.
blacksmith, but a pregnant wife.
Shokan
Yeah.
Paladin.
Yeah.
Wait.
You were doing that. You with them 2
Four,
shields.
2 shields and 2 hammer, and then
I thought you had a hammer, or was it 2 blades? I thought
it was a
two
hammer and a
blades.
blade, I think.
Yeah, I think he had one in each hand.
Maybe I just had one free hand to punch. I don't remember.
And then I had a dire wolf as a pet that saved my life.
Right. And
Who always had bad rolls for some fucking reason.
Saved a lot of their asses.
Oh, so
because-
many bad rolls.
My thunderous.
See how many
Fucking
claws
Doom
he
Goose.
The Doom Goose.
Yes.
Oh, the Doom Goose.
The Doom Goose.
I'm so sorry.
Whack.
So as a DM, I tend to throw in some of this other, some of the other little things to kind of fuck with my players. And one of the things that I had was a Doom Goose. And the Doom Goose, that they never really got to see like how that was gonna unfold, kind of just would show up on the scene, and you would hear him. You would hear him like honk, and then after he honked, like one little crazy thing would happen. Something would swing around, hit somebody, and if they didn't roll a good reflex save or whatever, then they got hit for a little bit of damage and all that. And they wouldn't never be able to find the damn goose. Like the goose would like honk, and then they'd be like, oh shit, what happened? And then like the thing would happen, and then they would look around and be like, where the fuck is that thing? And they'd never be able to find the goose. The goose would disappear basically.
Eric's character, I think, saw it, but
Yeah.
like basically was just like, nah, I'm not gonna tell anybody.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, like,
it's not my concern.
Oh, that's the goose. Okay.
Yeah. Like,
You
nah.
know.
Because at one point that goose set off a chain of events. Every
It
single
was
one
on the
of our-
boat. It was
Yeah.
on the boat.
Yeah,
Every
no,
single
we
one of
were
our
getting-
characters
We were about to
rolled
get on the
well.
boat. We were on
Yeah.
the dock.
We were on the dock getting on the ramp to get on the boat.
And,
Yeah.
And
I
we
nearly-
all passed our rolls.
Yeah.
So it was all of the crewmates and everybody that was out on the walkways that got fucked up.
Yeah, one guy almost fell through a piece of the dock and the lumber just gave way. Like, really? That wasn't that bad yesterday.
I
What
know
the hell?
Eric got to his premium cabin he got somehow.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I think he saw the Doom
He
Goose
said
there and was
the-
just like, whatever.
Yeah.
But
pretty
here's
much.
the thing. His character was dumb as rocks.
Well, from an intelligence standpoint, yes. From common sense, not so much.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
pretty sharp, dude. Okay. So, at the end of the day, we kind of just decided that, we wanted to keep this going and be able to do something with our, with all of our nerdiness. And so we really wanted to kind of push for making this an entertainment company. And so we decided to rebrand the name, give ourselves the Necroton Knights. And from that point forward, we've been able to we've been doing streaming, we've been doing our D&D stuff, we're doing our stuff on Friday nights and trying to do this stuff on Saturdays to be able to bring you guys something. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing where we go from here.
Absolutely.
I know that we're excited about some stuff coming up. We're going to be September, of course, is a huge month for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, before we go into the list of things that we're going to be throwing onto the streams, Monday nights, we got Bacon doing the lives. Tuesday nights, we've got Frodo. Wednesday night is Frodo,
Journey to
Corvus, and
Astera.
myself doing the Journey to Astera, our current D&D campaign, which is 100% homebrew. There is nothing authentic D&D in it other than the dice.
Featuring Zach and Ryan.
Featuring Zach and Ryan. It's GoHex's Gaming and Hololock.
Correct.
Thursday nights, you got Corvus doing his stream. Friday nights is the four of us doing games, sometimes with a guest star. I know last night you guys had GoHex on with you for the
Texas.
Yeah.
Texas
Chainsaw
Chainsaw Massacre.
Massacre.
Such a great game. Smash
fun.
success. Loved every minute of it.
last Friday was my first time playing Among Us, which
Yeah.
I had a blast doing
That was
that.
a lot of
I really regret sleeping on that game. I'm not gonna lie.
Hmm.
Saturdays we're gonna be rotating between a podcast post and myself doing a live stream. Sundays we're gonna be our relaxation day and just kind of throw ideas around.
We're not even
together.
going to fucking talk about shit. No.
Well,
That's
we're gonna
our-
try to do it on Saturdays so we don't have to do it on Sundays. But
Right.
Sundays is kind of gonna be our relief day.
So far, it's kind of been our planning day as far as like,
Yeah.
hey, I have this idea for this, but it's not more working on. It's more like when you think about it,
Yeah,
let's
it's whatever.
just send it
thought.
out there. Yeah.
So yeah, we're really trying to bring you guys content daily if we can,
Yeah.
and just be able to keep churning out some good stuff.
So I know one of the things that you and I'm sure Drew, I don't know about you, the game that's coming up in September.
Mhm. September the friggin' 5th
Right.
is going to be hitting us at 7:00 p.m.
Minecraft.
Yeah, Minecraft.
Yeah,
totally.
Minecraft. 100% new Minecraft.
Starfield.
Yeah.
Ah, Starfield.
be playing.
Can't come out quick enough, man.
It
I
really
swear.
can't.
No.
We are really like enthralled with the concept of being able to jump out there and explore space, build ships, build places. This guy is never gonna. I'm serious. You will not be able to stop Mando from building fuck tons of everything.
You give me an RPG that lets me explore space, like the space version of Skyrim.
Mhm.
Space Pirate.
Space Pirate, exactly.
Mhm.
You give me that opportunity and tell me I can build a base.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fucking game over. I am building that thing till it looks like a fucking metropolis.
It's what Mass Effect Andromeda, I think, was trying to be.
trying to do and failed miserably.
Mhm.
What
Well,
I
that's
love,
because that little lovely name that they had.
yeah, EA. I love EA
BioWare.
to a point and BioWare to a point, but Bethesda they always do it better. I'm so happy
Except-
with Bethesda. They have some exceptions. Fallout
For
76.
Fallout 76.
Well, so
It was a good attempt. I will give them that.
The $300 missing from my bank account for life
Would say otherwise.
says otherwise.
That's $300 I'm never getting back.
Yeah, he was an idiot who pre-ordered.
But like the new game plus that they just revealed was going to be available, which they haven't given us all the details on, and
Right.
apparently it's going to be with a twist, which they still won't fucking tell us about. I'm a little aggravated about that. I want to fucking know.
It's I want to know. Yeah.
But that's the biggest one that we're looking forward to. There was another one that we had been talking about.
Baldur's Gate 3 coming to PlayStation, possibly Xbox.
It is coming
Yeah,
to
it is.
Confirmed it's coming to Xbox.
Oh, it is? Well,
so
good.
what
I
was the guy's
especially
name
can't
again?
wait.
For Baldur's Gate? We were talking about this earlier. They were talking about. Oh no, that was Starfield. Starfield was the one. Todd Howard was saying how, aside from making it an irresponsibly large game.
Oh yeah. The words he used.
Yeah,
Irresponsibly
The
large.
gaming industry is about to be flipped on its head.
Uh-huh.
Companies are going to have to start actually putting out games that are finished and that consumers actually like enjoy. Like not your yearly Call of Duties that are just reskins, not your yearly Maddens that are just
Yeah.
reskins, not
Like
They're
the new
basically
Call
gonna
of
be
Duty.
because
developed.
Baldur's Gate is already starting to show that if you put enough time into a game
Yep.
and care into a game, it can be amazing and different.
Yeah.
And Starfield, I think, is about to do the
It's
same
about to do
exact
the
thing.
same thing.
You're going to get 2 within a month.
Yep.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, consumers and everyone, the fans, nerds,
They're never going to go back to paying for DLC.
I promise
ever.
you,
Yeah.
it's not even that. They're not going to go back to just buying the same game on
Yeah.
repeat just as a reskin. Like,
Because Call of Duty 3, they just released
Assassin's
information
Creed.
about that.
another
COD 3 is going to be all of the original Modern Warfare 2 maps. They literally just took all the old shit and said, here you go.
Remaster.
And you're going to pay $80 for it.
you're getting a new campaign, but the multiplayer is basically the same.
Yeah.
That's-
Like,
And
nothing
people
is
don't play
fucking
for the
changing.
campaign.
Yeah.
You play the campaign once and you're like, okay, that was cool.
Yeah.
Multiplayer.
45 minutes tops of my life wasted.
Warzone.
The campaign is basically just to learn how everything works, the gameplay, to fill all the buttons, everything.
I mean,
That's
I
it.
like the story.
Like you could get through like 2 or 3 missions, learn everything. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some
One
people are like
multiplayer.
that, sure. I like the story.
Hell, the multiplayer, like they end up they built in this raid situation now to where basically you're getting more of the story through the raids.
Yeah.
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 You really are.
And it's like okay.
It's the equivalent of like the Disney Plus TV shows. Like you have to know what's going on in the movies, you have to watch the TV shows.
Yeah.
Call of Duty's doing that with raids and their Modern Warfare, like Warzone.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
to know the further story, you have to play. It's like
Yep.
That doesn't.
Yeah, the Baldur's Gate 3, it's been confirmed that it's going to come to Xbox. Phil Spencer made a deal with them. The problem that they were having is they couldn't get the multiplayer to work properly on the
on
Series
split screen.
S
Yeah,
with
on
the split
the
screen.
split screen,
Split screen.
like local. Which,
Local. So what they made a deal, the Series S version of it will be single player only.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the Series X will have the full-on multiplayer, split screen and
So-
online multiplayer.
Yeah.
Here's the problem we're gonna have with our group. If we want to play that and actually do a campaign, it's cross save. It's not cross play.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're gonna do cross play between the Xbox Series X and PC though.
I
That's
think they
possible.
I think they will because most of your crossplay games that come out on PC
Generally.
they're crossplay with Xbox
Yeah.
right out the gate.
But you're definitely not gonna be able to do PlayStation.
What Jay's trying to get to is he's the only one out of the 4 of us who doesn't have a Series X.
Yet.
Yeah.
It might be a while.
Yeah, there's that whole thing about getting a new car.
kind of
and
put a
the
damper in your finance.
baby, and
Yeah.
yeah, so it might not be a thing.
Baby.
For a bit.
His kid's almost 3.
Well, I say new baby, but baby,
You know what I mean.
kid,
Yeah.
toddler,
Diapers
raw.
still exist.
So yeah, Cyberpunk.
And the new
Yes,
Cyberpunk, that was the
yes.
other one.
The 20, I think it's 23rd.
Phantom Liberty.
Phantom Liberty,
Yeah, Phantom Liberty, and I'm interested in that, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to just straight up buy that sucker. We're all really, really broke right now.
Yeah.
more or less.
More or
I mean,
less.
like we're basically doing our thing. We're trying to keep things going. I want to be able to enjoy this as a full-on deal. So the more we're able to get out and get y'all guys to be interested and invested in us, the better we're gonna do.
We make
So-
time for the passion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like we definitely have the passion for it. Otherwise, we
It's-
wouldn't be sitting here doing this.
It's a lot easier doing stuff like this when we actually have a love for it and passion for it, and it doesn't feel like a job. It doesn't feel like a chore.
Yeah.
Heck no.
It comes natural, and aside from all this technical
I was
stuff
gonna
that
say,
we've gone through,
In most cases,
Honestly,
it
this
doesn't.
is-
It's like we love it, but we really
God,
fucking
we love
hate
it.
it.
but that could be video games too. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
we,
you
we've
know,
got the same
that's-
problem with game streams from the Xbox and
Yeah.
same issues from the PC.
no, I mean like that could be like video game franchises. Like you love them and you hate them. Like
Yeah.
Mass Effect put out 3 great games, and then they put out
Andromeda.
Andromeda, and it's like I love Mass Effect,
What
and then I hate it, and then same
And
thing with
like Dragon
same
Age.
thing with Bethesda with Fallout and Skyrim, like or
And
Elder
Dragon
Scrolls.
Like you said, Dragon Age 2.
Dragon Age.
Dragon Age.
But like
Yeah.
I mean, but whenever they came out with Inquisition, I'm
One
gonna tell you right
great,
now.
2 terrible. Inquisition great.
Yes.
What's going on?
So I mean, like, and the next one they're coming out with is looking really
That
good.
looks good.
The new Fable. That was the other one. I
Fable,
Yes.
the Fable reboot.
Yeah.
It's just
Essentially,
called
yeah.
Fable, right?
It's
Yeah.
just
It's not
called
Fable 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it's like a whole new company.
It's a whole
Like,
new
it's
company.
Not, it's not
And
like
that
Net
looks-
Studios.
it
And
looks-
it looks amazing.
Yeah, and
Oh my
it
God.
doesn't look like nearly as cartoonish as the other ones.
Ah.
That's what I'm kind of excited about. Don't get me wrong, like I liked it worked.
Yeah, it
You
did.
know,
It
and
did for that.
a lot of
Gave it
people-
its character.
a lot of people didn't
Yeah.
like 3. I actually liked 3.
Yeah.
I loved 3.
Oh.
There's so
The-
much that you can
The
do.
main reason why I really liked 3 is because they introduced the online co-op.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun, messing with each other, how you had certain interactions, you can go mean, whatever.
Yeah.
And
That was a lot of fun.
2
two
was
you could do
I
on
liked
the
2.
co-op, but it
Ish.
was like
2 was a better single.
It was
Yeah.
much
yeah, it was much
simple.
better single. But like whenever you got like to do the co-op thing, you went in as like their lackey or something
Yeah.
Yeah.
into their world.
Yes.
And that was like that didn't really draw a lot of people. So like game developers, they're learning to, I mean, if you put in all this time to making your character and doing your thing your way, you want it to keep going, you want it to keep building, you want it to be better.
2 pissed me off at the end. Choose money, fame, or your dog.
Or your dog.
That's why I had
Yeah.
3 different saves at the end, so I could do all 3 and
Yeah.
get the completion.
Get the completion achievements.
Yeah.
That's how you always want to try it.
That's the other thing for Starfield. I just remembered too. I don't remember if they confirmed it or not, but it's got full mod support from day 1 release.
Yeah. And so
On
basically,
Xbox?
People are already putting in mods for ships.
I'm sorry, on Xbox?
For Xbox,
yeah,
which means it should be available for PC day 1 as well.
yeah.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
Wow.
If there was already
Yeah.
modding and everything.
Like this game is already shot so far ahead of itself before it even hit the
I've
units.
seen the TikToks, man, where they've had like people like it's got full mod support day 1, and then like the next scene it's got him with like a rogue helmet on, like a Rogue Squadron helmet on. He's like, "What are you doing?" He's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
It's
like-
it's Starfield, not
Is there
Star
not-
Wars.
Is this not Squadrons?
Not
yet.
So I mean, like, yeah, I'm excited to see what they do for Starfield. I'm excited to see like how they end up doing the ships and seeing how they might do some mod support with all that and turning it in basically to where you can have Slave 1, or like me, I want
there to be a Slave 1 mod.
I'm like, please give me the consular class. I just want the consular class. I can turn my freaking ship into
Put
the
all the
Veritas.
Star Wars mods.
Yeah, just
You know, we
just
did
all that stuff.
we did Star Wars trivia like a couple weeks ago, and I was the only one out of like 30 people that got what that ship was called, Slave 1.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
It's a KSE fire spray from Quad Drive Yards, but
Well-
yeah, it's called the Slave 1.
Okay, I didn't know that much. The question was what was Jango Fett's ship's name in
Yeah, the
Attack
name
of the Clones?
was Slave 1.
And I was like, Slave 1, and then like everyone else like had got it wrong, and I was just like,
I would have said Jaws on the floor with that response.
I was sitting,
Like,
I was
it's
sitting
a
there
what?
thinking, I was sitting there thinking like, man, Priest would have got it right, and some.
And some.
And so, yeah,
I'm
I
a
was
walking
Did I
encyclopedia.
get
I was gonna
bonus
say,
point? Did I get bonus
just
points for
Boba
actually
Fett
naming
in
the class
general
of
and
the
Jango
ship?
Fett on. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah,
show 'em
fire
all.
spray from Quad Drive Yards. Had
anything
this-
Mandalorian, honestly.
had a point 2.0 fire hyperdrive did it. I mean, like he's like got the lot name off all this fucking stats.
Yeah, he's got the whole blueprint in his head.
I saw this.
I have it in my room.
I saw this video the other day where it pointed out a very, very good point. It was talking how Samuel L. Jackson has played a character that has killed a Django, and then also played a character that got killed by a Django.
Yeah.
That's pretty. That's pretty
meta.
Yeah.
So Django Fett, he cut his head off.
With a J.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, with a J. Well,
And then Django with a D.
and then Django with a D is silent had murdered him. Well, essentially.
Slaughtered him.
Didn't he blow him up?
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
basically.
Yeah, he blew him up. Yeah.
and
He was
turned
under the
around
cart,
smiling.
I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Under the horse cart or something.
No,
The
it all happened right there in the.
I forgot what happened.
The mansion. It was
The
like,
Yeah,
mansion
he was
blew up.
mentioned because he
shot him in the legs
Yeah.
or something. He couldn't walk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he walked out.
I need
And
to
as
watch
soon as
that
he lit a
again.
cigarette, put it in his mouth, it
Yeah, that's
exploded. He
right.
turned to the camera and smiled.
That's
Yep.
right. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
But this is essentially what you're going to get out of us for the
podcasts and things
podcast
like
from
that.
this point on. We definitely wanted you guys to get to know us on a more personal level and just see how ridiculous we are with each other.
We might have to do
Yeah.
a separate podcast to actually give them backstories about our names.
oh man.
Yeah, we might do some 2-person sessions where it's just 2 of us sitting down,
Because I'm pretty sure.
going into a little more depth. If you guys are interested in seeing that, we'll wait till we look at the comment sections for that. But
I'm pretty sure those. Well, how did he get his name Frodo?
I think that's a pretty simple one to figure the fuck out.
So he's knee high to a grasshopper, is what they would have said in my day.
Depending on how fast he runs in grass.
no, the short and to the point version of how he became Frodo.
Crystal.
We wrote his name down for that at karaoke, and that's how he got introduced to the world.
Frosty Factory.
Crystal.
Frosty Factory.
One time.
I
It
do
took
remember
one
that.
It
time.
took one.
I do remember
And he's been
that.
Frodo ever since.
It
No,
took
hold on.
Crystal writing that shit down.
That was done as a funny little joke that one night. The next weekend, went out drinking at this place called Center Stage for karaoke there or somewhere, maybe a concert. And one of our friends was bartending, and she's like, "Hey, Frodo!"
Question.
Me, being a dumbass, turned and fucking looked like, "What?" And then everybody's like, "Dude, we're not calling you that." I was like, "No.
Question.
What did I do?"
Isn't it such a better nickname than Nick Jonas?
Ooh.
I swear to God,
Yeah.
Ooh, I completely
in high
forgot about that
school,
shit.
I would take Frodo over
he
any
looks
of that.
nothing like him now. He looks nothing like him now. But in high school, this dude did represent a young ass. Like, what was that show he was on? I never watched it.
It's some
Disney show.
Yeah.
Okay, with the Jonas Brothers, they were on a
The
show.
Sweet Life, I think is what it was called.
No, that was with Zach
somebody
and Cody.
else.
Camp
Yeah.
Rock. Camp Rock. Right.
Camp Rock.
He was on Camp Rock. In those younger days, when the Jonas Brothers just got relevant and started blowing up, before he grew facial hair, before he was,
My hair wasn't slicked back and it was actually kind of like a curly afro.
he actually did resemble Nick Jonas a lot. It was crazy, and he never took advantage of it.
Never did.
Pisses me off to this day.
True character.
If girls were coming up to me when I was in high school calling me Nick Jonas,
Capitalized on that one big time, bro.
See, here's the funny part.
Well,
I went to a church camp.
It couldn't exactly capitalize on Frodo.
Yeah. I went to a church camp a few years after that. And one of the girls there is like, she comes up out of nowhere. She's like, "Hey, Nick Jonas, can I get your picture?" I was like, "Sure."
bro, no way.
Okay, but we're not getting into that because
No.
this recording is going to go way too long.
She
Because
straight up posted that on social
the,
media.
the
Oh, yeah.
people that I had
I
to
get
take
to see it,
photos
though.
with when I was in high school, because of who I looked like then, and I still look like the motherfucker now. I'm not saying his name. This will be a story for another time. But if we're going to talk about people, celebrities that we look like, I got tortured looking like this motherfucker because there's only a few years age difference between us, and we still look the same.
Damn.
Well, that's another one.
Oh, yeah.
That's another
At
time.
least somebody's gonna sit there and be like, "Hey, don't you look like Jabba the fucking Hutt?"
Nobody has ever said that to you but you.
Pizza.
And that was 2 hours ago.
No, I've pretty much been saying it for about
He's
6
been
months
saying
now.
it. Yeah, he's been saying it for a while. He don't, no. Never has looked like Java. Never will look like Java.
No.
Sorry.
Pizza.
He didn't believe me when I told him that he needed to bring his camera because we were going to be stripping. It was going to be nerds only.
No. It's
Talking about baby oil.
This table can't support that kind of pull.
Is there anything about getting on the table? I ain't letting anybody dance on that glass. Fuck you.
Andrew will probably be
I'd have a replacement TV, but I'd have to build a whole new table.
Andrew will probably be
Maybe.
Well, anyways, guys, to kind of bring it all down, we are Necroton Nuts, and we are very grateful for this opportunity to be able to come together as friends and brothers, and
Literal brothers.
And
Oh,
literal brothers.
by the way-
that guy and this guy.
Well, they're actually
we
brothers.
should mention.
We should probably throw that in there. These guys are related somehow.
We're not.
Might have
And we're
slipped.
not.
Slipped.
But I actually I actually had somebody call him my son one time.
Oh yeah, that was at McFarland's.
And
Nice.
I made it like a
It was like I literally just shaved babyface too. I went full babyface.
he went
That's
full
why.
baby face. He went full baby face, and like I was sitting there, and I was like, the waitress was coming out, and she served him his beer and shit, and then like I
No,
said,
this
by
is
the way,
after when we asked for our check and all that too.
yeah,
crazy.
Like, we
I
were
was
done.
I can actually see
I
it.
can see it.
That's what's
I told her,
crazy.
I said,
See,
by
this
the
is why
way-
we can never put anything on a time frame.
No.
Because we rabbit trail so easy.
Yep. But yeah, it's like what? And but seriously, I did say, like, I was like, by the way, thank you for serving my underage son alcohol. And she was like, don't
She
don't
went
do that. Don't
complete-
do
Wait,
Hell.
who's the bartender?
I
No,
can't
we were
remember.
outside.
Oh, you're outside. Okay.
Like
Yeah.
she went complete pale. She's like,
Don't
"Oh,
do that.
don't do that."
Don't. Do
Jeez.
But here's the best part. It's like, "Oh no, we're only messing with you." She's like, "Oh, don't worry. I got diapers in my car if he needs it."
Oh my god.
Didn't miss a beat, and I said, "Yep, that's why these guys. I will never underestimate a server.
Nope.
Never, not in my life will I underestimate a server."
Don't ever compare your humor to somebody who works in the food industry. I guarantee you, we will win.
Especially at an Irish pub.
Yeah.
It could be worse. When I turned 21, Jarrett brought me to the wharf, and before I got there, Jarrett had, I know, I hate the wharf so much. During the day, it's fine. At nighttime, I hate it so much. Before we got there, Jared had actually went to the bouncer outside, the one checking IDs, and told him to accuse me of having a fake ID. So that was fantastic.
Oh God.
I would take that over y'all kidnapping me for my birthday any day.
That was fun.
Mm,
But it didn't work. It
Yeah,
worked,
it
but it didn't. You rolled with it, I guess.
Yeah.
I never tried to be creative like that for my birthday. Everybody just got me drunker.
You know who's sad part
Like,
is?
literally, it was how we know we can get him drunk, but how drunk can we get him?
Taser drunk?
Dude, that wasn't even that drunk.
They got me in the
man.
back of his little
That's right.
Focus car trunk. They got me in the back, but it took them, 6-7 minutes? It wasn't until Jay just finally had enough and just
Oh.
elbow dropped the shit
Oh.
out of me on my mid
After fighting him for like 5 minutes straight, I'm like, I'm getting tired. Time to just kick it up a notch. And I was just like, BAM! All right, come on. And I'm
they
just shoving
shut,
him in.
they shut it, and they didn't think about the emergency trunk latch that goes in the dark.
You know, modern vehicles are very safe.
So we went from
No.
oh no. Okay.
So we'll finish that story on the next
That's
one.
gotta be new.
Winding it all down.
I already know how long that conversation's gonna go.
The gist is, it's really hard to kidnap someone and put them in a trunk these days. Movies are lying their asses off.
yeah.
There's always a safety latch.
Yeah.
And it's always neon orange.
Yeah.
Well, yours is green.
Or green.
Yeah.
Or green.
Neon colored.
And
Case in
it's
point.
funny because my birthday's in less than 2 weeks. Well, less than a week now.
Right.
Yeah.
I got a 97. He can fit in the trunk.
Oh, game on. So yeah, guys, bringing it back in.
Mental
again.
note: make sure all
Okay.
tools is in Priest's trunk.
But we just want to say thank you to you guys if you managed to watch this far. Hopefully, be checking us out over the next few weeks. We're going to keep trying to roll this stuff out as soon as Starfield drops. You're going to be seeing a lot of that from all of us, pretty much except for.
A lot.
Well, we'll try and get him in on it.
But he's still gonna be doing Baldur's Gate 3.
He's still going to
Yeah.
be rolling out his Baldur's Gate 3 and whatever else happens to come his way. Because
Which
we're
I might
going to
start
try
doing
and
it
out
off
some
my
other stuff
PC too, since it'll actually run single player.
I might end up doing some 2K23 when it comes out too. I'm big into sports games.
He's pretty much a
2K24. He's right.
2K20.
23 is already out.
2023,
I know.
Yeah.
I played 300 hours of it.
So just be looking out for us, guys. We're going to be doing a whole lot of really cool stuff here coming up, and hopefully we'll be able to see y'all there. From me, NK Corbus, and the rest of us here, the Necroton Knights, thank you. Have a good night.
We'll have all of our social medias running right after all this.
You'll see it.